Okay, let's continue our lecturing, okay? So let's open the calendar playground, okay, here. Okay, one student asked, how about we don't give the getter or sector implementation? Okay, actually, the compiler will generate the getter and the sector for each property. Okay, so let's show the example here. So here, just I mentioned, I want to define the person, the class, and the name is only the property. 这名字是唯一的属性. So here we don't provide the getter and the sector, and as you know, we can create the person, okay, using this way. That's no problem. That's because the compiler will provide the default implementation. The default implementation just like this one. Okay, when we retrieve the name, that means we will call the get. Okay, and we hope we retrieve the name, we can get the value for the name. So what is the value for the name? The value will be stored in the field. Okay, in this location field is a special keyword. Okay, that means the value for the property. And when we assign a new value to the name, this means we will call the set function. Set function. Okay, and the set of the function set will set the new value to the field. Okay, so the compiler will automatically generate such program code. That's called the default getter and the sector. So let's go back to my slide. So we know the getter and the sector, right? Okay, so far we know how to define the basic class. As you know, any the object programming languages, they provide class inheritance. So we have a child class and a parent class, or a subclass and a superclass. Okay, that's called the inheritance. So suppose we have the base class, okay, class keyword base, and that's when we construct the base, we need to pass the parameter p. Okay, and here I want to define an inherited class. Okay, that's called derived class. That's a subclass. And the inheritance, we use this for format. Something like we specify the function return the data type. Okay, the column follow the parent class. Okay, so that's called the inheritance. However, you pay attention about the statement in the blue color. 蓝色这个稍微看一下。By default, classes in Kotlin are final. Okay, as you know, in Java, I think it's Java. The Java, you can define a class to be final class. Any final class cannot be inherited by other the class. 定义成 final 的类别不能再被继承啊。So by default, all classes in Kotlin are final. So if you want to let the base become your the parent class, the base should be open class. 它必须要开放式的，好吧？啊。Okay, so let's show the more example. Okay, let's simply check the slide. Okay, so here I define the basic class, motor the vehicle. That's open. So this means this class can be inherited by other class, for example, like the cart1 and the cart2. Okay, and the motor vehicle having two basic property. Okay, so that's the two basic property. Max speed and the horsepowers. 速度啊，马力啊，这是基本的 property. And here I want to define the cart1. Besides the basic property, max speed, horsepower, I hope cart1 has another property. This property called seed count 是几人做的 seed count. Okay, so you can see here we use a column state count one. The parent class is a motor vehicle 啊，看出来哈，继承 motor vehicle. Okay, so inside the parentheses, this means when we create count one, we need to provide these two value. One is the seed count, and this value is declared as var. That's also means the seed count is the property of the count one. OK， so seed count 就是宣告成 var 了，所以 seed count 之后也会变成 count one 的其中一个 property， 变成一个属性。So let's see the second parameter. Second parameter is the max speed without VAL or VAR. So this means max speed is not property, just a parameter name. Okay, when we create count one, we need to pass the max speed value to this parameter. 哎，这个是参数哦，那不是 property， 要传值给它。So well, we will apply the max speed. We can check the parent class. When we create count one, because count one is also a motor vehicle. So besides we set the seed count value, we also need to set the value for the max speed and the horsepower. So here, follow the parent class. Here we provide the initial value for this to the property. So you can see here, max speed is actually a parameter here. Okay, so this means when you create count one, for example, maybe I show this. I directly write the code here. Okay, so this means, for example, I show the program code. I want to create count A. Okay, that's count one. Okay, it's our class name. You can see here, when we construct the count one, we need to provide the seed count. Suppose that's having the folder seeds. And the maximum speed is, for example, is 200. Okay. So here I pass 4 to the seed count, 200 to the max speed. Okay. So max speed becomes the 200. Also, when we initialize count one, because count one is a child class or motorcycle, so we will also initialize the motor vehicle. Okay. So motor vehicle having the two property, one is the max speed. As you know, max speed is 200, 最大速度是200. And another property having default value 100. So 100 is for the horsepower. Okay. So this means having this statement, the seed count is 4, the max speed is 200, and the horsepower is 100. 吧啊，这种写法就是这样子写 ，OK。So let's see another case showed here. Here, I use another way to show how to inherit it from other class. For example, cut 2 is an inherited class from the motor vehicle. However, here we don't provide any parentheses here. 这边没有加括号啊，表示它是we don't call the primary constructor. Okay. And here we individually tell you cut 2 having one another property called a seed count. Because without primary constructor, we don't specify the primary constructor. Here, we need to provide the secondary constructor. Okay, so you can see the program code. The secondary constructor need to call the parent constructor. You can see here. Parent class is here. Sorry. And using this way mean motor vehicle has a primary constructor 啊，这个它有一个主要的 constructor， 就是传这两个 And in the child class, how do we call the parent primary constructor? Okay, here we need to use super, using the keyword super means the super class. That also means the parent class. Okay, so this way means I want to call the primary constructor for the motor vehicle. That means we need to pack the max speed to here, 100 to here. Okay, okay, so we have a check of the program code. 好，这个你们自己再看一下哦。Okay, so a use note in child class. The child class will have all the property from the parent, and we can call the method function from the parent class. 这个大家都知道了啊，子类别可以存取父类别的属性，也可以呼叫父类别的函数。那这个我们来看一下 ，actually we can redefine the behavior of parent class. The redefine is called overriding. I think the youth know what is overriding. So as you can see here, the shape is our parent class, and the circle is the child class. And here, because the shape, the parent class provides the default implementation for the method function draw. And however, in child class, I want to redefine the method function， 有没有？子类别的函数重新定义同名的跟附近同名的，哎，这时候就要override。Okay, so this means I want to redefine the method function. This method function having the same name, okay, with the method in the parent class. Okay, remember because we need to redefine, so the parent function should be declared as open 啊，它仍然是要变成是开放性的，表示它可以被继承后再改。Okay, okay, if you are familiar with C++ or Java, you know the so-called access scope, okay, or the visibility, okay. As you know, some property may be public. This means outside the class, from anywhere, you can access the property. That's called the property is public. And the private means that's for this variable. This value is visible inside a certain class and it cannot be accessed outside the class. That's called private. Private. 我想这个限制等级大家都知道 the access control, okay? The public, private, internal, and the protected, okay? Quite similar to the Java programming code. And however, in our simple example, actually we don't concern about public or private, and actually we will most of time we will use public, and the public is by default. 你没有写，通通都是 public 啊。Okay, and besides the class, Kotlin support the abstract class, just like the C++. Okay, 这个跟复习一下，跟 C++ 差不多。Some class can be declared as an abstract class. So what is abstract? Abstract means this class definition is not complete. 它是不完整的 not complete. Okay. For example, one of the method function having the header definition, but don't having any the function 的 body. 有没有这个函数啊，并没有提供实作。Okay, we don't provide the implementation for the function. So this function is called incomplete, also called the abstract function. If one of method function is abstract, the total class is called the abstract class. Okay, 是抽象式的类别。Okay, we can let the abstract class become your super class or parent class. Okay, and in your class, you need to provide the implementation for any the abstract function. 我想这个大家都知道哈。如果你继承一个抽象的类别，那你就要把那些它没有提供实作的，你要把它补上去。OK， Okay, another concept is called the interface. Okay, that's like the protocol in Java. Okay, something like the protocol. And in Kotlin is called the interface. Interface means I just specify the property name and the function name. And actually, most of the time, we don't provide any the function definition, okay, in interface. So the interface, just like the spec for a certain class, I just want to let other users know this class having this property name and having this method function. Okay, and we don't provide the implementation. 我想大家都知道哈 ，interface 只是提供一个 class 的一个框架，跟你讲说 property 有什么名字 ，method function 有什么，实作是没有提供的。OK，so we can inherit it from a certain interface. Okay, and then you need to provide the implementation. Okay, for any the method function defined in the interface 啊，我想这个 interface 里面宣告的这些函数名称，你如果限定你要 follow 某个 interface 啊，这些 function 的实作这种就要提供。OK。Okay, so I briefly introduced the basic idea about the Kotlin class, and maybe I leave more time to talk about Android programming. Okay, and you can check my slide. Also, you can go to the website to learn more about the Kotlin programming. 啊，我想 Kotlin program 这个平常就会用到，慢慢自己在学啊。所以我就不仔细再讲了。我们把重点放在那个 Android 的 programming 的设计上。OK， so I just skip this slide and start our lesson to introduce how to use Android Studio to design the Android app. OK， 我们开始讲了 Android app 怎么去设计的哈。let's open my slide. Sorry, the slide is here. The concept of Android programming. Okay, this slide. Before that, here let's open the major developing the tool for the Android app that's called Android Studio. Okay, so here let's close the project. And, oh, sorry, let's close all the project. Okay, when you launch the Android Studio the program, okay, let's start a new project by click the open this new 我们开一个新的专案 okay, new project. And here the Android Studio provides some the template for your app. Okay, template something like the template when you want to format your document. Okay, there are some the template you can apply it. 这个有点样板啊，样板。And here we don't need to. I just want to let our app quite simple, so we will apply the empty activity 啊，就跟上次讲，我们会用这个 empty activity. So we select empty activity and the next. And we follow the default setting. The project name is my application. Just like the Java program, we need to provide the package name. Okay, package is something like the folder structure. So actually, your program code will under the com, and inside the example subfolder, and inside the my application subfolder, and then you will check your program code under here. Okay, so the actual location would be stored here. And the language, we select the Kotlin. And the minima SDK is 21. That's API 21 is corresponding to Android system 5. Okay, so this means all the app will backward compatible to Android 5. Any Android mobile phone that running Android 5 and the later the version can run out the app 啊，这个就是背后相容，直到5.0，再往前这个 app 就不支援了。OK， finish。And waiting for the download some necessary file and build the app. Okay, it will take a little time. Okay. Not finished yet. Okay, so here is the Android Studio. Android Studio. Okay, let's check the left-hand side. Here is our project structure or the project folder. We can view our project in different mode. Most of the time, we will select the Android mode. Android mode. Okay, so you can see here we have Android mode or the project file mode or project. Okay, the project file mode, the structure is the same as the file structure in your disk. Okay, however, as you can see here, to access a certain program, actually, this program code will be stored into a very deep subfolder. 它会放在很深的一个目录里面。Okay, like see here, XRC, main, Java, com, example, my application. Okay, very deep folder, 很深的目录。Okay, so it's not easy to access the file. So typically we will change to the Android mode to easily access the necessary file when we design our app. So Android mode 它其实就是一种简略型、方便设计 APP 的一个档案阅览模式。Okay, so here we show the project structure, and here we will write our program code. Besides design the code, we also need to design our layout. Okay, so having the initial program code, maybe we can run our app. So we simply run the app. Okay, I click the play the button. Okay, here I have some problem. Okay, I can solve the problem. Because my setting is quite a difference, and here I have project structure. Here. Okay. So here is the emulator. Emulate a certain kind of mobile phone. Okay. You can see here the mobile phone is episode 4. Okay. And the OS is API 29. Okay. This we run the app. So from the right-hand side window, we can check the running the result for all the app. Okay, it just show we install the app into a mobile phone and launch the app. Okay, we still need to wait for the apps ready. So suppose your computer should be little powerful, okay, and the internet connection, the speed also cannot be too slow because Android Studio need to download some of the data from the internet， OK 啊，这个开发 App 就是电脑不能太烂了，不然跑 Simulator 要跑好久。Okay, so we see the message. We install the app and then launch the app. Okay, you can see here, that's my application. We simply show the hello world. Okay, that's quite easy the app. Quite easy app. Okay, so let's go back to my slide. Let's show the best idea how to design and enjoy the app. Okay, let's go to my slide. The concept of Android programming. Okay, we will introduce some fundamental concept about the app and the basic component that include in any the app, and the tool and the library, project folder, layout design, material design, something like that. Okay, so let's consider the system version about the Android. As you know, some mobile phone use the Android operation system and some other maybe use iOS platform. Okay, so Google provides the Android platform, the system version from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so far I think is 13. Okay, the latest version I think is 13. Okay, 好，这个它每年都会有那个新的版本啊，这也是比较麻烦的地方。新的版本、新的功能，每次都要学新的功能。Okay, so maybe you will found when we create any project, we need to select the minimum supported SDK, and from there, you will see the percentage. See the percentage. The percentage is called a cumulative distribution. For example, if you select the minimum SDK is API number is 21, corresponding to the system version is version 5. Okay, and you can see the cumulative distribution is about 98. This means about 98 Android from the user, they can run the app that is the minimum the SDK is set to 5, and the 80 and the 980 the Android mobile user can run this app. Okay, so you can see if you select very the new system, because some user mobile phone their mobile phone are quite old, so they cannot run any the new function provided by the new API。所以这个有个百分比啊，就跟你说这个全世界 Android phone 的用户啊，他跑的作业系统有多少，还是跑什么作业系统啊？越新的越少人用。那你开发的系统如果使用 API 太新的话呢，那就会很少人才能够跑你的 APP。Okay, so let's learn the basic fundamental about Android app. Okay, Android app can be written using the Kotlin, Java, or the C++ language. Okay, so you can see Kotlin is just one of the options. Okay, typically we use Java programming code, and some library function they are implemented using C++. Okay, And actually, even we write the calling the code, the compiler will translate the calling program into the Java. OK， 虽然写 APP 看起来好像是用 calling， 对不对？其实它 compiler 会把 calling 的程式码转成 Java 啊，所以 Android app. So actually, for when you design the Android app, we can mix the Java code and the calling code together. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's see the second thing. When we compile the app, just like the previous example, my application, okay, I play the run button. When we press the run, the Android Studio will compile your code and generate the execution code and install the execution code into the emulator. So what's the execution format? The execution format is called Android package or called APK file. Okay, so when we install an app, that means we install an APK file 啊，这个是早期那个 Android 它的执行的档啊，通通都包在一个 APK 的档案。OK， because internally APK is something like the Java bytecode, so we need to use a Java virtual machine to run our app 啊。Android 它其实本身是 Java 的，会编译成 Java 的那个机器码，所以它需要 Java 的虚拟机器来跑。And from the 2021, okay, Google announced a new format for app. This format is called AAB, Android App Bundle. AAB. The file size will be smaller than APK. The main purpose for APK is for late binding, because when you release one APK, you need to consider the user's mobile phone, because the user mobile phone can be quite different. Maybe the resolution, the screen size, right? So for a single APK, for example, you need to display one image. So you need to prepare image with different resolution for different device, right? So the APK file will be quite large. However, for the new format AAB will include all these material resources, like the different like the image with different resolution. When the user download the app, the Google Play will check the user device spec. For example, the Google Play will check the resolution or screen size for the user device and download the appropriate image. Okay, and then compile the AAB to the final APK. OK 啊，这个是以前 APK 什么东西都包在里面啊，所以如果你的装置解析度大小不一样，那所有的图片档不同解析度，通通包在一个 APK， 那 APK 太大了。新的版本新的格式叫 AAB， 它把必要的这些资源啊，图片、声音等等的资源，是暂时放在 Google Play 上面。等你下载安装的时候，它才动态的去编译成最后的 APK 啊，能够直接符合你的装置解析度需要的那些资源就好，其他不合的那就不会被包进去了。OK, so that's AAB. So here it's the execution model for the Android app. Okay, for run the app, we need to create a process. The process is something like the Linux operation system. We can create a process to do a certain job. So what's the major job? Actually, we will create the Java VM. Okay, create a virtual machine to run our program code in our app. Okay, so that's one process. Because Android app can be some of the job can be run in background, or some the task can be run something like using the quite similar to the in parallel way. Okay, so that's called a thread. I think you know the thread in Java. Okay, for example, I create one thread to download the resources from the internet. I create another thread to play the music in background. OK， 这个是多工就会用到 thread 的观念，所以 Android App 也是包含有 thread 的使用。OK，actually one more thing, Kotlin introduced another concept called coroutine. I will explain the coroutine in another slide. Coroutine is called a lightweight thread. That's a quite different concept. Or you can consider coroutine is a simplified version or the lightweight version of thread. Kotlin 有另外一个观念跟 thread 很像，它叫做 coroutine， 因为我们之后再讲啊。You just remember, if you want to do some background task, you need to use a thread or use a coroutine. Okay, so let's consider how do we design the app. Actually, for any the app, this app will contain maybe contain one of or some of the 4 different components. Okay, so the basic building block for the app, we can either use the activity, service, broadcast receiver, or the content provider. Okay, so let's explain what's the meaning for this app component. Okay, for example, basically, just like my application example, I select to use empathy activity, right? That's one kind of activity. So activity represent a single screen with a user interface. It's quite similar to I design one web page. That's called one activity. So within one web page, you need to design the layout. For example, you have some button, some label, or some table form in this web page, right? So that's called the UI design or the layout design. So that's for one activity. And just like the web page, we can click the web link to go to another web page. And in Android app, this means we can run from one activity and change to another activity. Different activity will display different, will manage different content on the screen. Okay, it's something like I change to another web page, show another information. 所以一个 activity 就相当于会呈现一个页面的那个界面的操作，或是一个页面的资讯这样。Okay, so that's called activity. So most of the time we will imply activity in our app design. And the second component is service. Okay, this means your app may define the service. Okay, actually, activity is a predefined class. Activity 就是一个事先定好的一个 class. Service is another predefined class, and the major usage for the service is provide some task that can be run in background. For example, I want to do something. For example, I want to play the music or download the internet data. For those things, this thing should be done in background. Okay, so we have background and the foreground. So what is the foreground? Foreground is majorly interact with the user interface. So when you click the button, when you select some for example, you click the button or scroll the screen. This action is called the user interaction. User interaction should be managed in foreground. Okay, 前景做的事情就是跟 UI 直接的互动，这些都是前景操作的。OK，so we cannot perform longer running the job in foreground. Otherwise, your app will be freeze there. Don't do anything. 你的荧幕就会停住，因为它做一个很长的复杂的工作，没办法回应用户的操作。OK，so prevent the screen freezing. We need to remove long-running operation in background. One way is use a service, or you can write your own thread code 或者 coroutine 的 code，这个稍微知道就好了，好吧？这个有些工作可以用 service 把它设计在背景执行。For example, you want to design an app that can trace the user the current location. So this means you can apply the service to receive the GPS signal, to record the user current location 所以用户定位你就可以用 service 写一个背景接收 GPS 讯号的一段程式。The second component is called a broadcast receiver. Broadcast receiver means this receiver can receive broadcast message. So what is broadcast message? Broadcast message is related to some system event. For example, the user turn off the screen, or the battery is low, or the user disconnect from the internet. So that's called a system event. This event will be broadcast to whole the app. So that's the broadcast message. And in your app, you can write a receiver to receive this broadcast message. 所以你系统有一些事件像这个电力过低网络中断这些都是广播的这个讯息。你在你的 app 里面就会写一个接收器来去获得这些系统的讯息，然后做一些后续的处理。So that's called broadcast receiver. And the final component is called the content provider. Content provider is a mechanism for shared data among the app. So this means basically each app can only access its own data, and you cannot access data created by other app. 所以 app 之间的资料呢是不会互相分享的。So, however, in certain situation, I want to have one shared data, and this data will be shared by different app. So for this situation, we can apply the content provider. So provider means we can provide some the content. The content can be, for example, the file format, or the content may be like a table in the database. So that's called a content provider. Actually, the Android system has some default content provider. For example, the image retrieval, any the picture taken by your mobile phone, and this picture can be shared by all the app, because this picture file is managed by the system content provider. 这个是如果要把一个档案共享给多个 APP， 它就要用这种 content provider 的方式。那通常我们很少自己设计自己的 content provider， 而是用系统原有的 content provider。系统原有 content provider 有什么？就刚才举例的，就是你要存取媒体这相机拍的哪些照片你想从里面去抓到你的 APP 使用，你就会用系统的 content provider。Here, when you write the app, we typically will apply the system library and follow the suggestion by the Google. And Google provide some supported library and suggest you some mixer or some architecture. You can follow the architecture to design your app. Okay, so that's called the Android architecture component. Okay, for example, the Google will recommend you to use the data binding and the live data navigation, long view model, something like that. All of them are called architecture component. Okay, and that's quite a new concept. Okay, and I will introduce them each by each 啊，这个每一个我都会之后课程会跟各位介绍啊。So for design modern and popular app, I think you need to follow the suggestion. Okay, you need to follow the Android architecture component. Okay. Okay, so here, let's try to think about how to design an app and what kind of function we need to learn. Okay, I think that's quite a basic problem because when maybe you take my course, it's for the reason you want to design an app in your project. So the first question you will ask is what function or Google or for some situation maybe you want to design a function and you don't know the corresponding technique that can solve your problem. So here, let's try to consider the basic design. 我们先从那个设计一个 app 来去看我们到底要学什么才能够设计一个相对比较完整的 app 出来。Okay, so let's consider a travel app. I want to design a travel app. From the functionality, you need to divide your app into different sub-components. For example, some the page, screen the page will display the login. You have the login the page. And after login, you have basic data let the user to browse. And by select one item, we can show the detailed information. Okay, maybe the information is about a restaurant. And also I want to show the location on the map about this restaurant. And we can let the user to provide the rating. Okay, so we need to divide our app into several screens. And the several screens mean we need to design different activity. Okay, however, in modern way, we don't need to design several apps. We will follow this style. We will design several fragments and only the one activity. 这个我之后会跟各位解释。多页面啊，通常我们会把 APP 设计成多 fragment 搭配一个 activity. Okay, multi-page application. For this case, we need to design several fragments and only the one activity. And in this activity, we will do the switching between different fragments. For example, from the login fragment, change to the browsing fragment, and change to the showing the detail fragment, something like that. Okay, so that's called fragment navigation. Fragment navigation. Okay, so let's consider. For example, I want to design the login page. 我想设计这个登录的画面。The login page may contain some text box, a text view to let the user to input the best information like the account and the password. All of them are called widget. Okay, like the label, text view, button. So that's called a widget. So widget contain button, text view, edit text, let you enter the information and show the image. We need to use the image view. Okay, and also we need to properly arrange this widget on the screen. So that's called a layout design. Okay, so far you know, if you want to design the UI, you need to know the different widget and how to arrange the widget into the layout. Okay. And the next thing, for example, I want to provide a scrollable list to display point of interest. Okay, I have several place. Maybe user want to go to there, so I provide a scrollable list. 我提供一个列表让用户去选。So how do we implement or provide the scrollable list? In Android, we need to use a special widget called the recycled view. 这个我们叫做 called recycled view. Okay. So how about the data source? The data source. The data source may retrieve from your mobile phone. That means the local data source. For local data source, you need to apply the ROM database. Okay, so that's for local data storage. In Android, we need to apply the ROM database. And for remote database, maybe your point of entry information is download from a certain website. That's called the remote data source. And for remote data source, maybe we need to co-work with a cloud-based database. For example, maybe we can integrate file-based function into your app. 如果你要有云端的资料啊，把资料放在远端，那你就要跟 Firebase 一起要用到 Firebase 的一些功能 ，OK？ Okay, let's see the next one. If you want to show the position or surrounding information about a place on the map, for this situation, we need to apply the Google Map. Okay, so you need to learn how to use the Google Map API. Okay, to show the map, to show some the landmark on the map, something like that. Okay, and the next thing is that I want to provide such service. When the user is close to a certain place, I will send an alert message to tell you you are approaching to a target place. Okay, 你要写一个用户靠近某个地方，就送一个那个提示的讯息，你快到了，快到了，像这样啊。So for such situation, we can apply the service to monitor the user current location, and the user broadcast receiver to send an alert message to the user. Okay, so for different function, we need to apply different technique. Okay, and to design a fancy UI interface, maybe you need to learn the material design. Okay, that's also suggested by the Google. For any the UI design, you need to follow the principle of so-called material design. 它有一种叫做什么这个 material design 哈，就是告诉你怎么设计 UI 会比较漂亮这样。Okay. Also, for maybe your web page is not static and dynamic. Okay, dynamic means maybe you can apply the animation, or you can include multimedia data like the image or the music data, or you can work with the gesture control. Okay, control the interface by your hand. That's called the gesture control. 就是手势的动作去操作你的 app。你要做这么复杂的东西，你就要学这个 gesture control， 程式要怎么写。Okay, or for advanced technique. For example, I want to apply the AR, augmented reality, okay, AR. Then you need to learn the AR code. Or I want to recognize the user from the taking the picture. For this case, you need to apply the machine learning. Google provide the ML kit library, so you need to learn how to use the ML kit library. Okay, so all of them is what you need to learn to design a very useful and fancy app. Okay, so a lot of things you need to learn. However, in our class, it's impossible to cover all this topic. 我们可能在一门课把这个所有必要的通通都告诉各位啊，我们只能够讲一些比较简单的。Okay, okay, let's take another break. Okay, any question? 有没有问题？Okay, let's take a break about 10 minutes. 我们休息一个10分钟，好吧？ Okay, I am coming back. So as you know, you need to learn the managing the technique if you want to write a quite complete app. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's try to get some the best idea. Okay, and having the best idea, I think you can learn by yourself. 好吧，基本的抓到了，其他的就自己去学啊，哈，应该这没什么问题。Okay, so let's try to get ready and write the first app. The first app is my application. I just demoed my application previously. Okay, so the first thing is we need to install the Android Studio either on the Mac computer or the Windows computer and create an empty activity around the app. And we need to examine the project folder. Okay, so let's consider our project folder. Wait a moment. Okay, let's open the Android Studio. Okay, so that's for my application. The project folder is here. Okay, so typically we will change to the Android mode to check our project folder. The first folder is the manifest. Manifest having the one file Android manifest.xml. So you can open the file, double click. Here I want to, for example, I want to, here is my emulator line. I want to have more space to display the file. So we can temporarily hide the emulator by click the link. Okay, emulator, hide the emulator. Okay, so here is the Android manifest.xml in the manifest folder. This file is about the setting or the configuration about your app. For example, from here, you will find you design an application, and this application contains one activity. Okay, the activity is corresponding to here. Sorry. Okay, the activity is the main activity. This means your app only contains one activity, and when the user launches the app, the Android system will just load the activity. Okay, 就是载入的时候是直接去执行这个 activity 要做的事情。Okay, so major setting. For example, if your app want to access the camera or want to connect to the internet, we need to get the permission. Okay, so from here we can declare some access permission right here. Okay, maybe we will discuss the permission in another slide. 这个我们之后再说明。这里面主要是对 APP 的一个设定。Okay, and from here Java. Under this folder about your program code. Okay, so you can open the Java and the example my application main activity. Okay, so here is your major code for your activity. Okay, the major program code. Okay, so Java is under this folder is your source program code. Besides the source program code, you will find there are two other subfolder. That's Android test and the test. These two folder is for the testing. Okay, test is for the unit test. For example, I want to test the functionality for a certain function. We do the unit test. Android test is for the UI test. Okay, we can write some test code to make sure your UI behaved correctly. 这个是做 UI 界面测试的，这是做函数一些模组测试的 the testing code. You can write the testing code under this folder. Okay, and this folder is generated. This means the AAB or APK, the machine code. Actually, that's not machine code. That's Java, something like the Java bytecode. Okay, the generated code will be stored here. Okay, and the IES means the resource. So there are some other subfolder under the resource file. For example, something like the image resource will be under the drawable layout, and the layout means you are the UI the layout. Okay, for example, I open the UI layout. Okay, UI layout actually as you know, my application is here, right? I will display hello world just at the center position of the screen. That's because our layout. Okay, so you can see my layout. Here's my layout. Okay, the whole screen. Here is the test view. We'll display the hello world. I just arrange the test view at the center position. Okay, so that's called the layout design. We need to edit this XML file under the layout subfolder. Okay, and the min map is the app icon. Okay, when you launch the app, for example, you can see here, I can close the app. Okay, so here is the app icon, app icon, app icon. Okay, so default icon is something look like this one. Okay, that's called the app icon. App icon, we need to design different icon image and put them under the map subfolder. Okay, and the value, there are some constant value. We can declare the constant value in the value folder. Okay, and something like that. Okay, the resource file. And the next one is the Gradle script. That's the file about how to build and compile your code. Okay, so for the compile setting, for example, your app may depend on other third-party library, or maybe you need to apply some supported library. You need to include the library by do the setting in the Gradle. Okay, also about the compile setting under the Gradle. 好，这个是几个档案的说明啊。好，那我们就差不多了。好，我们看这个。好 ，Let's focus on the layout design. I think when you create a new project, the first thing is design your layout and write your program code. Because my app, for this app case, this app application only contain one activity. So you need to provide program code to describe what we need to do, the major thing in the main activity, the function code. So main activity is, you can see, double click. Main activity corresponding to this file. Main activity.kt, kt means the Kotlin. Okay, so this means this program code is written in Kotlin program language. And the layout is here, activity the main. Okay, so the naming is quite matching to your main activity. Main activity reverse is activity main. Okay, that's a default naming style in Android Studio. Okay, that's layout design. When you design the layout, we can switch to tut mode. While in the design mode, you can check the real screen and any other widget, like the text view is called a widget. And also you can change to the code mode by click the code. Code mode is the actual content for the activity main.xml. XML, you know, it means the file format is based on the XML format. So the layout design is described using the XML, the syntax. So you can see here, we have different tags. We have the text view tag. That's one of the widget called the text view. And here, we provide some attribute setting for the text view. For example, I want to let the text view to display the hello world. So I set the hello world to the text attribute. So that's called the attribute for the text view. And here is the value the setting. Okay. And also you can see the text view is just over the constraint layout. Okay, we can change to the design mode. So you can see the hierarchical structure for our interface. Okay, maybe we can close the project and leave more space for our layout design. Okay, so this means constraint layout is the rectangle area. You can check the blue line, the rectangle just occupy the whole screen. So that's our total layout. And this layout is called the constraint layout. Actually, Android provides different layout, constraint layout, linear layout, something like that. Okay. Most of the time, we will use a constraint layout. And for simple app, we will use a linear layout. So this means the constraint layout contains the text view. And the text view is at the center position of the constraint layout. Okay, so that's called the layout design. Okay, so most of the time when we design the interface, we will work with the XML file. Okay, we can either write the code in the code mode, or we can change to the design mode to visually design our layout. Okay, 所以视觉化设计切换到 design mode。你要用程式码去撰写，就好像你写 HTML 网页一样，会切换到 code mode。Okay. Okay, let's go back to the project. Okay, as you note, we have several resources under this folder. So how do we access the resource from your program code? For example, let's open the main activity. You can see here, sometimes in our program code, we have such statement r.layout.activity main. What's the meaning? R is a resource class. Resource class is auto-generated by the compiler, and this class will try to collect all resources file under this folder and put this resource into the R class. Okay, so you just need to know the compiler will generate a special class. This class is called the R class. Based on the R class, we can retrieve the resources file using this format. R.layout means under the layout folder, mean here under the layout folder. And the file name is activity underscore the main, just corresponding to this one. Okay, and when writing the program code, it's not necessary to include the extension name. 延伸名一般都不用写，你看 extension name .xml, we just ignore the extension name. Okay, that's one way. When we write the program code, we want to access the resource, we will use this style r.layout. certain file name, or r.drawable. IC launcher background, and so on. Okay, this means I want to access this file name under the drawable. Okay, drawable folder. Okay, next, try to open this file. Oh, sorry, it's value. It's string. Okay. Here, string.xml, something like the variable declaration. I declare named value. Okay, the named variable. I define the app name. That's our variable name, and the value is my application. Okay, so from here we can define different. We can declare different constant value. Okay, maybe I go to my slide. Actually, we have talk about here. Okay, so under the resources, we have the string.xml file, and in this file, we can define different variable with their variable name. So in what situation we will call this, or we will refer to this variable? For example, here we have one text view, and the text view will display the name. In Chinese, that's 名称. Okay, I will show name. So this means in this text view, we will retrieve the text named value. So here I provide the Chinese name here. Okay. So this means in your UI design, most of time we will move some constant value into this file, into this string.xml file. The purpose is for the support of multilingual interface. For example, I design an app. Maybe the user just read the Chinese word. So I design a string file contains the Chinese word. However, for the English person, they only know the English. So I need to define another string file and do the mapping. The text name is corresponding to English name. That's a name. Okay, something like that. So you just pay attention. When we design our layout, some information that's fixed locate on a certain screen, and this fixed value, we can remove the fixed value into a separate file. This file is called the stream.xml. Okay, become the stream value. Okay, having this separate file, we can easily support the multilingual interface design. OK 所以如果你要设计多语言的界面那就尽量把那个 UI 界面会固定出现的字独立宣告在某一个档案。这个档案你又可以宣告成有英文版、中文版、法文版，这样就可以支援多语言了。OK。Okay, so that's about the stream.xml. Okay, so let's go back to the main activity. Main activity, as you know, that's about the configuration of your file, right? So let's locate this position. Label, you can see the my application, right? Actually, you can click here. Okay, that's the actual value stored in this XML file. Label, you can see the double quote. So that's a string reference. This means the labeled value will refer to the string value. What's the value? Is corresponding to the app name variable. So what's the string? String is corresponding to string.xml. Just like this, just in this file, I want to locate the app name variable. When you open the string.xml, here I have the variable name, string the name. So the app name, having the value my application. Okay, so actually I just want to let the application the label become my application. However, we use the indirect reference. 你看，我不会直接把 my application 储存进来，而是用间接的方式。OK, indirect reference to the my application. Okay, so here is in XML. In XML file, I want to refer to another resource. In this situation, the format is quite different. We use the at. You can see here, at string means the under the string just in the string.xml file. Okay, that's using the at. However, in program code, that means the program code. We want to access the resource. The syntax is based on r.layout, r.string. Okay, that's quite different. Okay, so just pay attention. The slide is about here. Okay, we want to access the app resource. We have the two way. In program code, we use the r something, and in XML, we use the at file name. Something like some keyword. For streams.xml, we use string. Okay, no exact mapping. Actually, the file commands the strings having the X. However, when you writing, you just provide the at string. That's quite enough. OK 啊，这个就是存取 resource， 它有2种啊，一种在程式码要这样子写，一种是在 XML 要存取另外一个 XML 的资源，它就要这样子写。OK。Okay, another thing about the ID. Okay, for example, I want to identify this text view. We use the r.id. So what is ID? You can open here. Open our layout. Okay, and you can see here, all the layout contain one text view. Each text view or each widget on the screen need to have a unique ID. So how to set the ID here? Okay, actually you can see here, because in my program code we don't need to locate the text view, so I don't provide the ID. Actually we can provide the ID here. Okay, maybe we will check the case later. 反正就记得这个每一个 UI 的 widget 通常习惯我们都会给它一个 unique ID. Okay. Okay, so layout design is based on we will first place a layout on the screen, just like the constraint layout. And over the layout, we will put more other the widget on the layout, just like the text view button and so on. Okay, so that's called the layout design. Okay, so layout, just like the constraint layout, is called a viewed group. View group means that's a spatial widget, and this widget is a container, can contain other the widget or the view component. Okay, 我想 widget 跟 view component 在我们课里面是对等的。Okay, view component is equivalent to the widget. Okay, so this means view component, we have 2 different view component. One is called a view group, and another is called the view. Okay, so view, like the button, is a view. Constraint layout is a view group. Okay, a view group can contain other group and contain the other the view. Okay, just like this case, constraint layout is a view group. This view group contains the one text view. Okay, so here we show the class hierarchy, that's also called the component tree. Okay, we show the hierarchy. Okay, 他们的那个层级的关系啊，我们就在这里可以看出来。Okay, so that's the basic idea about the app structure and the operation on the Android Studio. Okay, so other like the material design style and the theme, we will explain them when we need them. I will explain how to use them. Okay, so maybe in my remaining time, I want to show a demo to design a simple app. So in my remaining class, please remember to download this slide. Okay, this slide is called instruction slide. For example, instruction, that's the part 1. Okay, instruction guide. We will follow the guideline to demo how to design some simple app. So the first app I want to demo is this one. Okay, that's called a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday will contain 2 messages. This message is displayed by the text view, and here we have a background image. Okay, on the screen. Okay, so that's quite easy the app. Quite easy the app. Okay, let's follow the instruction to design our app. Okay. Okay, so let's create our new app. Okay, it's new project. Okay, the project name is called Happy Birthday. We also select the empathy activity. Okay, empathy activity. Next, the name is Happy. Sorry. Okay, happy the birthday. Okay, and follow the default setting. The finish. It's wait a moment. Okay. The system need to initialize the project setting. So you can see here the Gradle will build the project by downloading some necessary file. That will take time. So make sure when you design the app, you need to have the internet connection. OK 啊，你在写 app 那个网络一定要有连线。OK, so let's click the resource folder and open the layout and the main activity. Here, I want to design our the layout. Okay, and here I want make more space for the layout design. So that's the initial setting for the layout. The layout contains constraint layout and the one test view. Here, I don't want to the default test view. So I select the test view, okay? Or select here, or select here. Okay, so for simplicity, we can select the test view here. And click the delete. Okay, on the keyboard, I select the delete. I just remove the test view. Okay. And from the here, we can design our new layout. Because I need to show the, you can see my slide. I want to show the happy birthday stamp and from the Emma. So I have two the message. This message is based on the test view. Okay, so I just select the test view. That's called a palette. Palette contain different widget. Okay, we can click the common. Here is some common widget. Test view. Drag the text view onto the screen. Okay, so here is one test view, and here drag another test view. Okay, and I can enlarge try to zoom in. Okay, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And here, test view, I want to display happy birthday stamp. So I double click. Oh, sorry. Double click, no function. Okay. Select the text view. I want to show the text. So how do I set the text? From the right-hand side. Here is the attribute setting panel. Okay. So from here, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. So that's all about the attribute setting for the text view. Here, I want to set the attribute name called the text. Okay. So this value will be displayed on the text view. So I want to show that's happy birthday stamp. Enter. Okay, you will see will display happy birthday stamp. And let's check another text view. Let's select text view. Let's also try to set the text attribute. Okay, you can see here the default is text view, so that's why you see the text view here. That's because the text by default is a text view. So change the text to be from the Emma. Here, okay, and enter. Okay, so you will see we have happy birthday Sam and from the Emma. Okay, so far let's try to run the app on the app. Oh, sorry, I need to try to select the Java 11. The Java version, I think selecting the Java version maybe that's not necessary in our the Apple the classroom. Let's recompile. Let's open the emulator. Let's wait for the app install. OK， 我们再等一下，好吧 ？OK， that's the result. You can see the happy birthday stamp and the founder Emma. They just overlap. These two messages are placed at the same position. Okay, so this means using the constraint layout, we need to specify the actual position for each widget. 所以这个位置有点问题，对不对？ We can stop the app and let's open our layout design here. Okay, so this means using the constraint layout, we need to specify the actual position for this text view. So how do we specify the position? We need to add the constraint. So that's why this layout is called constraint. Constraint is some rule. The layout should be the layout should follow this rule. Okay. So how do we? For example, I want to give the constraint. The constraint quite easy. For example, I want to let the text view, the distance from the text view to this top screen. We can add the constraint. Just select the circle and click the circle and drag to the up. Okay, so we add one constraint. And by default, the distance will become the 0. So we go back to the configuration panel. From here, we can set the gap. You can see here, default gap is 0. For example, I set the gap is 16. Or maybe we can set larger, so 24. Okay, so you can see here, the gap becomes 24. So that's for the from here to here. And also, I want to specify the position from here to here. So I select the circle and drag the circle to the left-hand side. And then you can see here the gap or the margin. Okay, so the margin 24. Okay, so this step means I give two constraints for this text view. Okay, one is for design the that's called the vertical position, and another is for the horizontal position. Okay. Also, for this case, I want to add the constraint from here to here, and add the constraint from here to here. So I simply select the circle from here to here, select the circle from here to here. Okay, as you can see here, these two constraints, the default margin is 0. They set the margin to 24, 24. Okay, so I give constraint to this test view. Let's run the app. Okay, you can see that's quite great. Okay, happy birthday Sam is here. I found the MI here. However, you will find the text size is too small. Let's try to enlarge the text. That's quite also the easy. Okay, let's open. Let's hide the emulator and select the test view. Okay, from here we can set the font size. Font size is here. Let's scroll down. And then you will find the text size. Okay, the text size, the unit SP. Okay, you just remember the unit spatial unit called SP. Let's select the 34. Okay. Also for Emma, select the 34 SP. Okay, so far you can see our interface is quite small to quite similar to our the case in our slide. OK， 好，这个是设 text view 哈，调整文字啊，设定它的 layout。OK，and let's see let's see the next step. The next step that I want to show the a background image. So how do we display the background image? The first thing I need an image view. So here I need an image view. Image view. Okay. When you drag an image view, the system will will let you select the default image file. Okay, so maybe I select this one. That's the default image file. Okay, actually, this image file is not what we want. Actually, I want to use another image file. I think that's fine. After the selection, we can replace another image file. So let's open my slider. So wait a moment. My slide here. Okay, I provide a link to download this image file. So let's try to click this link. Here's a link. Okay, so that's the background image file. This file is just placed in the GitHub. Okay, so we can select the download. I want to download this file. By default, when you click the download, this file will be placed into the downloader folder. Okay. Let's open the Finder. And here is a okay. The interface in Chinese, maybe just explain you. Here is for downloader folder. Okay, maybe this file is not correctly saved. Wait a moment. I use a right click and save the file. Okay, I select the save file into my local disk. Okay, the default is the downloader folder. Okay, the file name, I select the save. After that, let's go back to the Finder. Finder is quite similar to the file manager in Windows system. Okay, from here is the download folder. I have Android party.png. Okay, that's the background file. We want to display this background file here. Okay, so after download the file, we need to import. So the next thing is we need to import the image. So let's see the instruction, the import. You can see the instruction here. Oh, sorry, it's here. We need to do the import image. I think that's quite easy. Let's go back to here. Let's use the Android Studio. Open the project folder and open the drawable. Okay, we want to put the background file into this folder. You can open the Finder. Okay, you can open this to the window. Oh, sorry. And drag the Android party into the drawable. Okay. However, oh, sorry. However, let's see. Another standard way we can select the. Sorry. Let's select the resource folder and right click. And let's sorry, let me check. I need to select the let me see the resource manager. Okay, maybe let's use a more easy way. Drag the file into this folder. Okay, that's convenient. Still not working. Let's drag the file again. Okay, drag the file to the drawable folder, and then you will see some hint information. Let's select the refactor. and then you will see the Android party.png file is just under the drawable. Okay, and let's go back to the main activity. Let's close the project folder, and I want to reset the image file. So let's select the image view. Okay, and let's do the attribute setting. Let's try to locate where we need to change the image file. It's here. This attribute folder is called src source compact. Okay, actually you can see we have two source compact. One is with the tool icon, another is without the tool icon. With the tool icon mean when you design the layout, you will check the image here. And when you run the app will refer to this property or refer to this attribute. So actually we need to both change this one and this one. Okay, so let's try to change this one. Let's pick the resource, enjoy the party. Okay, let's also change this attribute. Okay, maybe next time I will display it more. Okay, as here I simply do the basic setting. Okay, try to small the screen. Okay, as you can see here, the image file is too small. I want to let the image cover whole screen. So how do we let the image cover the whole screen? This means we need to set the width and the length. Okay, so let's select the image view, and the setting of the attribute, and it's about the layout width and the layout height. Okay, so here we can try to use this way. Select the 0. You just follow my operation. Let's set the 0 and the 0, and try to add the constraint. Okay, add the constraint, add the constraint, add the constraint, add the constraint, and all the constraint is 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay, it's not cover whole screen. Okay, let's wait a moment. Since layout constraint, why is it not trying to cover the whole screen? Okay, maybe I need to check my slide. Why there's no constraint? Oh, maybe I forgot to add the constraint. I just set the margin. Okay, let's try to set the constraint from here to here, and from here to here, and from the top button, the bottom button. Okay, so I need to add the full constraint for the image view. Okay, top, bottom, left, and the right. Adding the constraint set the margin distance to be 0, 0, 0. So the image view will occupy the whole screen. However, you will find the actual image file is quite small. So we need to do the scaling. Okay, so we need to change the scaling. The scaling is here. Scaling. Scale the type. Okay, let's select the center. Okay, it will cover the whole center. I think that's quite too large. Let's set the center the inside. Oh, sorry, not this one. Select the fixed center. That's not also good. Let's select the center the crop. Oh, that's quite good. Okay, so let's select the center the crop. However, the image view will cover the text view. That's not what we want. So I just change the order. Okay, so here we can change the order. Move the image view from here to here. Okay, so the image view will become the lower. Okay, 在更底层。Okay, so we'll first display the image view and then display the text view and then display the text view. So let's run our app. Okay, it looks quite good. Okay, it's similar to our instruction slide. Okay, so if you cannot follow my operation or you cannot uh, follow my step, actually you can go to the code lab. As I mentioned, most of my example is referring to the code lab. So let's open the code lab. Okay, let's here Google. Let's use the keyword Android coding basic. This link. Okay, follow this one. Android basic in coding. And there are, let's select to the English. So it's a simple lab. Okay, either written in Chinese or English, you can change your favorite language. Why not don't change to the English? Oh, that is fine. We select the Unit 2. Unit 2. Unit 2. Oh, no, it's not Unit 2. It's Unit 1. So Unit 1. Build a basic layout. Okay, you can open this unit. Okay, you can see here. Here you will find the complete instruction to design the happy birthday, happy card app. Okay, you can open the document. So step by step, here you can see how to design the happy birthday app. Okay, so next time remember to go to the code lab to practice some the example cases. Okay, just in this link. Okay, and maybe next time you will more familiar with my demo 的 case. OK， 好，我们今天讲到这里啊，我想回去自己练习一下，很多操作都在 Google 的 Colab 里面都有更详细的说明，就 step by step 一步一步操作啊，就可以做出我刚才设计的内容啊。好 ，any question? If no more question, let's end our today's lesson and thank you and bye bye.